Hi everyone, it's Caleb here. Well, today I'm going to be starting a new series, and in doing so, I might actually be committing career suicide because I'm going to do something crazy and try to learn the 22-second Sinful Passion riff. And this new series is all about picking difficult vocal passages and unpacking what's going on and just giving it a raw attempt at trying to learn it. More so because of the process of unpacking it, more so than the result. For these Sing That Riff challenges, I'm giving myself two criteria. One is I can only have an hour and a half of getting used to the song, listening, practicing, and warming up. And number two is that I can only have 10 recording attempts. At the end of the video, I'm gonna give this vocal passage a score out of 10 in terms of how difficult I find it after giving myself an hour and a half to prepare for it and then 10 attempts at recording it. So stick around for the end of the video to get that score. It's a bit silly to try to do something like this. The 22-second riff is probably the hardest vocal passage I've ever heard, and I'm not giving myself that much hope of actually doing it, at least nowhere near Dimash's level. Let's just dive in and listen to it, and then we'll start to unpack what is actually going on with this riff, and then later on I'm gonna try to sing it. Okay, now I'm not going to do that as part of the riff. It's actually what happens next that I'm going to try to learn. That's the riff, but I couldn't learn that anyway. Okay, I'm not going to try to learn that part because that's way too hard. But let's listen to the main section. It's coming up in a second. What have I got myself into? Oh man. Just listening to it again, I'm like, oh, this is even more difficult than I thought it was. And I thought it was pretty difficult. But anyway, let's try to unpack a little bit what's going on here. So I'm just gonna start when he hits that note, that whole section, just because if I hit the few notes beforehand and then the main riff, it's just gonna take extra time. So I'm just gonna start from this note here. Okay, let's figure out what's going on here. So he's going... I think he's doing something like that. Let's listen to this again. Yep. And then I have no idea what's going on there. So he goes like... He does some kind of we're up here. He does some kind of crazy riff there. So he goes to a B flat, which is really high. That's probably one of, if not my highest mixed voice notes. And he does it after sustaining a long passage. So he slides up, and it's probably, I'd need to listen to it, but 7 or 8 seconds before he hits the B flat. So the difficult part is not so much just how high it is, but he hits that after a powerful slide up from, say, around around an F. So you got to hit an F, which is pretty high, and then slowly slide up, and then still have enough gusto after holding that sustained kind of thing for 7 or 8 seconds to hit a B flat. And for me, this is going to be one of the main tests. It's not so much just how high it is. It's about the kind of stamina. We'll just have to see how I go when we get to it. Let's try to unpack that crazy run section. What I'll do is I'll slow down the clip and try to figure out and listen to what's going on. Okay, so it's like... It's like... Is that it? Let's listen to that again. Yeah. Let's listen again. Okay, so it's these 4 notes that are crucial. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of hard to hear because the sounds are kind of a little bit wobbly because of the slow-mo, so it's like just a little bit kind of hard to hear what's going on. I'm going to try a bunch of times just to sing along with the song an octave lower and nice and softly, just so that in my head it's clear. Let's do that. Okay, I've practiced that a few more times. I think I'm ready to give the real thing a shot. So we're gonna switch the setup over here. I'm gonna try to belt out Sinful Passion in the original key. If I nail it, I'll isolate it and do just my voice at that time, if that makes sense. But to start with, here's a bit of a throw together of me attempting it over the top of Dimash. Okay, here we go for my first take. It is obviously much easier to do it in this studio environment where I can have a bunch of takes than it is to do it live. And I don't think I'd ever be able to do this live. You know, with the nerves and all that, it just takes the edge off what you're able to do. Anyway, let's give this a go. There is no way I could do that live. So I've awarded this song a 9.8 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. I certainly did not sing that perfectly. In that run, I arranged the notes slightly differently. I did a pattern where I went down 3, up 1, and like down 5, which is difficult in a different way, but still I didn't learn it perfectly, so it's quite hard to master those quick flurry of notes. I added in an extra note later, which made it more difficult, so I don't know why I did that. And my registration wasn't perfect. You could hear in that run, my voice was kind of like It almost kind of broke. It didn't, but it just wasn't perfect. As well as that, it took a lot of effort. I was probably pushing a little bit too hard in order to be able to do this. You just heard as good as I could do it within the time frame. If I had more time to practice, I'm sure I could get it pretty well, but I don't think I'd ever be able to sing this live because my peak best in the studio, it is significantly under that in a live environment just because of nerves and all kinds of things. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed watching this process. Please comment down below and let me know which vocal riff I should learn next for this series. My next one won't be a Dimash song, so think outside the box, think of artists you enjoy, and post it down below. But of course, in the future, I'm sure I will also return to doing a Dimash one. So thanks for watching, guys. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.